I've been missing that sound in my life. Good morning, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103GBFRocks.com. Here once again in 2019 with my tag team partner in podcasting, Mean Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Well, let me tell you something, Rob. I cried during Raw last night.
Are you are you shooting?
I'm shooting. I didn't like bawl, but I teared up. I got emotional. I got emotional. You know, Mean Gene was one of those ones. It didn't matter what area you started. You kind of loved Mean Gene. And for me, I was a little boy, and he was the guy. He was, I mean, and you don't know at the time that you're watching the guy. It's not like you ever turned the TV on to see
Right.
Mean Gene. But he was there. He was always the backdrop. He was the guy with the microphone in Andre the Giant's face. He was the one that Hulk Hogan spoke to when he was telling me to eat my prayers and take my vitamins.
Eat your prayers, dude.
Eat your prayers and say your vitamins. He was the guy that Macho Man Randy Savage was dumping candy on his head and cream of the crop.
So let me meet you halfway, because I didn't cry and I really wasn't even close to crying. But I will say it did strike me as probably their best posthumous remembrance video kind of thing, in that what I really liked was there was a segment in there where they were trying to remind you that he was a funny guy, and they kind of showed the real Mean Gene, and I really liked that portion of it. So I'm not gonna poke fun at anyone who broke down into tears. Go ahead.
I forgot some of the stuff, like the Genomania. Like, I forgot that he had a match with Hogan. I forgot all that.
As someone who's watching wrestling from 1986 right now, I just watched that not long ago.
I mean, it's just awesome. He was great. And I listened to Eric Bischoff's show talking about Gene. I'm halfway through his Gene show, and Bruce Pritchard talking about Mean Gene. Bruce kind of summed it up. He said, because Conrad said, you don't hear anybody say a bad word about Mean Gene. And Bruce said, and you never will. He's just one of those guys that you just somehow made it through the wrestling business without anybody ever being cross with him. He was a spectacular performer, a great guy, and
except for whoever that one mystery person was who lit that cigarette after Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble in 1992.
Bruce says he thinks it's Pat Patterson, but I feel like we would have heard if it was Pat Patterson.
Well, he said a few names that it could have possibly been in his episode. Patterson, I feel like it wasn't. I just feel like it was a crew member.
Yeah. Put that cigarette out.
And I love the story about when the sign falls during SummerSlam. And and it's not that he screwed up, it's just that the guy had the wrong tape cued.
Right. I mean, it wasn't a Mean Gene F up. It was good, and I liked it. I thought Hulk Hogan did a very good job with it. I thought the 10 bell salute, you and I had talked about that. Not everyone's going to get 10 bells, but Gene deserved it, I thought, and that was great.
See, it's weird because my understanding, it's not like a question of who deserves 10 bells and who doesn't. My understanding is the 10 bells traditionally has been reserved for active roster members who pass. It's not a question of who deserved it.
Well, I mean, they made it about that last night because he wasn't an active roster member. And you have to admit, if Vince McMahon dies, that dude's getting 10 bells.
I consider him active roster.
Okay.
I mean, he's a character on television actively.
Did Bruno Sammartino get 10 bells?
I think he did. And this is when it's kind of starting to. And now the only thing is I worry about, is it now because Jim Neidhart didn't get 10 bells?
Right. Now you're almost putting dead wrestlers in tears.
Correct. And that's why the way it was always described to me was for active roster members.
Well, you know who else puts dead wrestlers in tears?
Who's that?
We do when we give out the posties, and already Mean Gene is the front runner.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Yeah.
Give that guy a postie. I posted that the day you posted the Rip Pal. I posted get that guy a postie.
We ought to just call it the Rip Pal Award going forward.
And for clarity, it's all because when Neidhart died, I just wanted to get it on the page quickly for everybody, and I didn't know what to write, so I just wrote. I thought I was writing "Rest in peace, Jim Neidhart," and I didn't put the dots in, and it just said "Rip Jim Neidhart," and you took it down and reposted.
No, I didn't take it. I edited the caption. I want to make it a bit more sensitive than Rip Pal.
To be clear, I didn't say pal. I didn't say
I know, but I was kind of parodying what you did and took it one step further.
I know. So now that's what it's become.
So now anytime anyone dies, our response to each other is just Rip Pal.
My 10 bells would be with like a ding 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 ding.
So yeah, I guess it does start sending you down a weird road when we start to pick and choose. Because I don't think Bobby Heenan got 10 bells. It's just like that's, you know what I'm saying? And I personally would probably give Heenan the 10 bells before Mean Gene. But, this is why I say we need to have a rule. And not we, I mean WWE.
Yeah. You have one. It's whatever Vince wants. Vince loved that guy. Vince was like, we're giving him a 10-bell salute. Giving him 10 bells.
I feel like you said Hulk Hogan did a great job, and I would say he did a fine job. I think that whoever put that video together did the great job.
The video was amazing. Hulk Hogan wasn't terrible, and I expected Hogan to either be way too emotional or way too Hulk Hogan, and he was a good mix of both. Sure. And I thought that the segment went really well. And I'll start the whole show by saying, I thought Raw was pretty good last night. I really enjoyed it.
I thought Raw was fine. I wouldn't call it good. I would call it fine. I would call it good. What's that?
Pretty good.
Okay. I would also say it was the strongest episode of the past 3 weeks, maybe 4. But whenever the last time, we did a live show was, it was the best one since then. Boy, can I get a few things off my chest?
I'd like to hear them. Yeah. Because eventually we got to start talking about, giving the fans what they want, and they're mixing everything up and they're changing things up. But I'm really curious what your chest is holding.
All right, so my chest is holding 2 things that are making me want to puke.
Oh boy!
So there's one thing. If I have to see this again, I'm going to puke, and that is this video promoting all the people from NXT getting called up. If I have to send
them up already.
Stop. Like, what the heck is going on? Either send them up or stop airing it every other. I think it gets aired every hour.
Every week for sure on both shows, Raw and SmackDown. And it's been airing ever since they promised they were going to give us what we want. We're going to do things differently. And then that was the show that they started that promo and then telling us Kevin Owens is coming soon. They're telling us all these guys are coming. But they haven't done it yet. So
annoying. And they've stopped running the Owens, and Sami Zayn won.
Yeah. And because they're annoying everybody and they know it. And they're going to blow a surprise. I think they're afraid that they realize they're going to blow a surprise.
I don't want to see those videos anymore, Jer. I've seen them. I really feel like it's been twice a show since they made that historic announcement a few weeks ago that's been anything but historic.
Is it just me, or do you feel, and I know we still have one more thing on your chest that's going to make you puke. I want to get to that. But do you feel that, like, WWE panicked? Like, those ratings really did panic them, and they knee-jerked, and now they really don't have a plan. Like, it seemed like they're not scripting as many promos anymore, and I'm great with that. I think that's great, but it didn't go super well right away.
I don't know that that's the case. I don't know 100%. I know that Eric posted on our page that he got that vibe.
Braun Strowman was out of he did not know what to say. It was weird and out of character for him.
Yeah, but that could be because they're scripting the promos. Not that they scripted him to be weird, but he could have lost his place in the quote unquote script. Yeah. I don't think there's anyone who's pro scripting besides management. I think every fan wants it to go back to the days of bullet points and, calling it in the ring, pal.
Call it in the ring, pal. Do Mean Gene style. Just give me the facts.
Yeah, just that's the best way to do this, because that's what's going to separate the men from the boys in wrestling. It always has.
Always has.
You got to have a certain amount of character and a certain amount of, let me put it this way, a certain amount of sizzle and a certain amount of steak. And if you're making everyone's sizzle come from the same spot, you're nipping yourself in the bud. You're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that.
But it seems like all they've done when they said we're going back to something new, a fresh start. We're doing a fresh start, and then they're just giving us all the McMahons again. It's basically like the origin story for the new authority. It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's been anything but refreshing, and it's especially insulting because they promised us that we are aware of this, and it's starting tonight, which was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's going to be different. It's been anything but. So let me tell you the second thing that makes me want to puke, and it's 4 words. I would tell you, see if you could guess them, but I know you couldn't. Did you watch the holiday programming, or did you decide to skip some?
So I never watched anything live. I mean, I'm not watching wrestling on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or Christmas Day, for God's sake. But I went back and I watched some stuff, and I did a lot of fast forwarding. And it's all jumbled together because I watched it all kind of like at the same time. So
no, that was me too. That's fine. So the 4 words that make me want to puke year after year after year. And I mean, you can take this back probably more than a decade. Year after year after year. It's the same exact feeling I get every time they go to the UK and they bring out the taxi cab and the phone booth.
Okay.
Those 4 words. Miracle on 34th Street Fight. They do it every year, and it's just the dumbest name for a match. Stop calling it that.
I don't think it's a terrible name. It's clever. It works on a Christmassy level.
Once give us a Miracle on 34th Street Fight. I am. Maybe this could be today's question on the Facebook page. But my God, every time I hear those words,
it doesn't bother me, pal.
Okay, then that's fine. I had to get this off of my chest.
I don't love it. I refuse to advocate on its behalf. I will not argue with you. Our first argument of 2019 will not be over the Miracle on 34th Street Fight. Like, I will let you have it.
Why not?
But it doesn't bother me. It doesn't actively bother me.
What if I told you the next overseas pay-per-view is going to be called Greatest Miracle on 34th Street Fight?
Now we're fighting.
On a Friday, no less.
Oh, well, that's the only thing that makes it better.
I hate those things.
You reminded me, when you said greatest, I thought of Greatest Royal Rumble, which made me think of Titus, which makes me think of Apollo Crews, which made me think of him winning the Fresh Start Battle Royal and then promptly losing to Dean Ambrose. Good start there, pal.
What a fresh start, pal.
What a fresh start. I'll tell you this. What I do find refreshing, and I shouldn't say refreshing because I've actually enjoyed them for the past few years. I think you might have too. I thought John Cena's appearances were great. I thought he was great on SmackDown with Becky Lynch. I loved that mixed tag match. I thought that was a really cool segment.
I preferred SmackDown, but he didn't bother me at all this week.
That was great. And then last night on Raw with Drew McIntyre, I thought it was great. I really wanted to see those two have a bit of a program, but then they brought everybody else out, and that was okay. And the Seth Rollins with Bobby Lashley stuff that kind of went the whole way through the show. I knew that's how the show was. I knew the show was going to end with Bobby Lashley coming back out, but I was okay with it. And that match at the end was awesome. Like I enjoyed Raw for the first time in a long time.
Tell me why. I'm not saying you're wrong or I disagree, but tell me why you enjoyed it, because I clearly didn't like it as much as you.
I kind of just did. I feel like, I like what Drew McIntyre is doing. I like the stuff in the beginning. I like that opening match. I like the way that it just started. It just started with a fight that nobody knew what the hell was going on. Like it was another pull-apart brawl in the back, but that's how the show started. It was cool. And then the whole way through the show, they just lace in Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Triple H. And clearly they're putting a lot of emphasis on Seth here, and they're going to ride him in. And I think that's a smart move. I loved the Falls Count Anywhere match. I thought that was really fun, and I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the ending to Raw. In between, a moment of bliss I enjoyed.
I didn't. I wanted
didn't mind it. I liked it.
Nia, I was fine with it until Nia came out, and then I'm reminded it's like Nia is just, I feel like she's such a league below even the other women.
Yeah, I try to ignore her and just focus on the fact that you've got Ronda and Alexa Bliss and not.
And now
Nia.
it's like it was a little douchey when Roman Reigns was doing it, but now every woman using the B word as their kicker is like super annoying. And especially with Nia, I don't know. I don't want to hear Nia talk. I don't. I just want her to be Awesome Kong.
I did think that something that everybody expected to be a big part of the show. I didn't really enjoy Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. Like I thought that. Yeah. I thought that fell really flat. I thought that fell flat. The Hulk Hogan Mean Gene thing was, I think, the best of the night because I really loved. I loved that Mean Gene thing. The Raw Tag Championship wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good Raw. And if you compare it to the Raws that we've been getting, it was goddamn great.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the 3 prior, I'm with you.
But the WWE is going to act like last night, they changed things up a little bit and the promos sounded a little different and, more emphasis on different things. And it's really starting to heat up and this is fresh for them, but it's not because they always do this in January because we're now on the way to the Royal Rumble. So if they wanted to give me a fresh start, they would have made the holiday programming not sucky.
I'm telling you, they're on autopilot in December.
Yeah, that's how you change. That's how you make it fresh. You go off autopilot in December. You do that. By the way, do you remember? This is something I had a question about because I'm about to have something on my chest, if I'm correct. The road to WrestleMania doesn't usually start until after the Royal Rumble, right?
I considered the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I noticed they were calling last night the road to WrestleMania.
Too soon. We're not on the road to WrestleMania yet. We're on the way to the Royal Rumble, which is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. It's like when you're on like Route 22 and it merges with 322. We're not on 322 yet, pal. We're still on 22. We're not on the road to WrestleMania. We haven't merged. Stop.
Or for everyone here in Indiana, it's like when you're on Riverside Drive. You're not on I-69 yet. You're still on Riverside.
Exactly. You're on Riverside. We're still on Riverside.
You're not wrong. I noticed it too. I think you're more bothered than I. You're right, because we're on the road to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we're on Riverside. We're not on I-69. I'll remember that one. 69.
What's so memorable about it?
It's a sex position.
It's so great because I-69 is actually a new road in Indiana. It's been since I've been here. It's gotten here. I remember we had our mayor, who I just love, Mayor Winicky.
Yeah.
And when he would come in to talk about it, he'd be so excited to talk about this I-69, and he would just keep saying I-69 as if he'd never heard of it being a sex position.
And he's saying I-69. I'd be like, well, you 69 and he 69 and we all 69, but I-69. I-69, Val.
Speaking of which, is Kelly even home?
Yeah, she's back.
We need to give some congratulations to your daughter, right, Allie?
Well, she did really well at her dance competition. She didn't win anything for her solo that she competed, but in the classes and the competitions throughout the weekend, she ended up winning a scholarship. Yeah, she did a great job.
That's fantastic.
Nicely done, Allison.
Yeah, that's saving yourself some money right there.
It's a shame I'm not going to get to see my kids grow up because we're. Did you see the USA Today story on the stories about Playa del Carmen in Mexico? These like cartel murders, or all these murders popping up all over the place. all these murders are popping up like this week. 10 miles from where I'm going on Saturday.
But you're going to a resort, right?
Sure, but the airport isn't in the resort. So we've got to get from the airport to the resort, and I feel like there's a lot of chance to die there.
There might not be. I don't know what. I think.
Plus, who knows that Aunt Rosalinda inside the resort isn't, her nephew Enrique isn't part of the cartel. And he gets in, and I'm making my jokes. I'm at the bar, and I'm like, El Cocaino, El Cocaino. I'm a na-na-na-na-na-na. And the next thing I know, I'm dead.
Well, the other nice thing about that is if the next thing you know you're dead, you won't even know it.
Yeah.
Unlike you, I needed a drink too, and I ran out.
I
already threw mine away. I wish I would have gotten one before the episode.
I'm so mad at myself. My drink. I need a fresh start. With my drink.
Hey, Pablo. Agua. Over here. Por favor, agua.
And it's always going to start with me going like this. This is like me winding myself up to speak Spanish. Hey, ¿cómo está usted, señor? I want to go to the biblioteca, read some little books. Maybe we have a little El Cocaino. El Cocaino, El Cocaino. Hey.
Viva la raza! All my Spanish I know from wrestling.
I put my luchador mask in the suitcase. Kelly took it out.
You put what in?
My luchador mask.
Oh, what about the belt?
I'm going to put the luchador and the belt, and I was going to walk around the resort. And she was like, you're not going to do that. But I want to.
Dress up like Pablo Escobar.
Hey, I'm gonna just have a mustache. Be like, ooh, Albano.
La Majastral.
Okay, because I can't speak fluent Spanish. I can read a little bit of it. What I can do is I'll speak English and then throw in a Spanish word.
Booyakasha.
Yeah.
619.
Booyaka, booyaka. 619. That's Spanish, right?
What other Spanish wrestlers do we have? Le Ultimo Dragon.
Guerrero.
Guerrero. Do you know what that's Spanish for?
Eddie and Chavo.
That's actually warrior, I believe.
Oh, the last name. Guerrero.
Yeah, if you're trying to say warrior. There you go.
I thought it was Spanish for lie, cheat, and steal.
I'm trying to think of other Spanish wrestling things you can use in. Go to La Parca.
La Plancha. I was thinking.
La Plancha.
La Plancha.
Anytime you need to dive off of a diving board, just La Plancha.
Yes. Hey, I'm going to go up to the Hurricane Rana and take a napo. Just to sign different things, names of wrestling moves. That's
Hurricane Rana. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. All right. So anyway.
That's why I won't be here next week, but
I'm going to see if anyone from around the office wants to jump on, I think next week, or, maybe I'll just come on solo. I don't know, but I'll miss you next week, but I'm glad we still have you tomorrow. And if I'm not mistaken, you're not going to be missing a predictions episode.
No, I'm not going to miss a predictions episode because that's the next week, right?
I think so. I think our timelines are good.
I do get back to town next week, late in the week. If I don't get dead, El Dedo. If I don't get El Dedo, I'll be good.
So anything else from Raw we need to cover? I feel like
no, I'm excited for Becky Lynch. The women on Raw make me excited for Becky Lynch.
Man, I'll tell you, it's just seeing Sasha does not do it for me anymore. It's sad, but it's true. Can you think of a Ronda Rousey match that's had less heat than this?
I mean, they've got to get her. They've got to get her to Becky now. Or Charlotte. They've got to do it. Or Asuka. They've got to do it. They've got to get her. They've somehow got to get her involved with the SmackDown girls. And that doesn't mean putting Ronda on SmackDown. Not yet. Not until we're closer to that Fox deal. They're going to put Ronda on keep her on Raw, some of those girls are moving over, right? Because the Raw roster is just the drizzling crap, dude, for Ronda.
I mean, it's time to be real. We have to get all the women either on both shows or on one show, because you can't. Now they want to have, I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 4 tag champions.
Oh my God.
Which my understanding is they've been really vague about this because they're going to do this later this year. So maybe that means, by the time SmackDown goes over to Fox.
Yeah, you can't. There aren't enough women to do 2 sets of tag champs for the women.
Most women will have a title.
Yeah, that's not good.
It doesn't work that way, pal.
Doesn't work that way, pal. Just put the straps on the Iconics and get it over with.
I would love that.
Yeah.
They're still super duper hot.
I'm into them. I am into those girls.
Oh, here's a funny story.
Sure.
So you remind me of, because I always cash in on WWE DVDs around Christmas time.
Right.
So check this out. Never had this happen before. Brittany got me. I could show you. Hold on. I got it in my bag because I got to return.
Let's see it.
Best of Raw and SmackDown Live 2017.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Great gift. It was on my list. Something I wanted.
Yeah.
Look what happens when you open it up. So far, so good.
Yeah. I see Kurt Angle. I see the Shield.
Let me know when you see it, pal.
I see 3. I see Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. Is that what I see?
Keep looking. Why do I have to return it?
They're Ric Flair DVDs.
It's a Ric Flair DVD from 2008.
Oh my gosh. Was this like a pre-owned?
No,
or
it was in shrink wrap and it was pristine.
I was looking at the pictures. I never dreamed for 1 minute that the discs were wrong.
Yeah, no, it's the wrong discs. And not only that, Brittany went to the Amazon page that she got it from, and we are not the first person who had it happen with those same. Someone else also got Ric Flair DVDs.
Oh man,
isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. That is crazy. And so now, have you seen those Ric Flairs?
Yeah, I collect pretty much every WWE DVD that comes out. Although I decided to pass on 2 this year, which I never usually do, but there were 2 I was like, you know what? I think I can pass.
Which 2?
One was for the Shield, and one was for the women. Sorry, I'm still that guy.
Listen, I feel like there's already a Shield one out there.
There is. Exactly.
Oh, I don't need the new Shield one. They were the Shield for like a minute. Forget it. Also, fun fact, yesterday was Chavo Guerrero Sr.'s birthday. Happy birthday, Chavo Guerrero Sr.
Chavo Warrior celebrating a birthday.
Today's birthdays are a little rough.
Who we got?
Bull Nakano.
Hey,
Bushwhacker Luke. And Chris Masters. We saw him debut.
I don't remember which Bushwhacker I met. It could have been Luke. If it was, I met him.
They're the same guy.
Bull Nakano, she's got a soft spot for me because the very first show I ever saw, and the very first wrestling show I ever saw, what was it?
The first wrestling show you ever saw live?
No, live on TV.
SummerSlam.
94.
Yep.
Bull Nakano fought on that show.
Really?
Fought Alundra Blaze, and it wound up being Wrestling Observer's Match of the Year. Not just women's match.
Boy, I'm sorry, Bull Nakano. I thought Bull Nakano was a guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did not know who Bull Nakano was.
Put her in your Google search real quick. I want to get your reaction.
I also don't know who Bad Luck Fail is. Let's see here. Bull Nakano. Oh, I've seen her. Yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah. I think it was that match. I might have the wrong match, but I believe they did have Match of the Year in 94. But to me...
lightning bolts painted on her head. She's got the Kid and Play haircut.
Japanese background. And I can't give any match besides Bret Hart and Owen Hart from that same show my Match of the Year. That's my favorite match ever. And if you got it...
I typed in Bull Nakano SummerSlam 94, and it comes up. That's when she fought Alundra Blaze.
No, I know she fought Alundra Blaze, but I'm not sure that was their Match of the Year match. It might not have been.
Oh.
But they had a Match of the Year at some point. I think we're probably done. We're kind of... What?
Yeah, now we're just flipping and flapping around. We're done. We're done. Okay. We're good.
Were you going to say something?
I could just talk to you forever because it's been 3 weeks.
What do you want to talk about?
No, I mean we're good. We're good.
All right then.
We're done. We're done. We'll talk tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Bull Nakano.
Happy birthday, Chris Masters.
We saw him debut. Remember we saw his debut in State College?
We did. We saw him debut. That's the Master Lock.
At a Raw in State College, yeah. The one where Batista made his decision to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania 21.
Yes, it was. And we had lunch with Batista before that at Hooters.
That's true. Yes, we did.
Boy, Chris Masters, what a dumb finishing move that is. Full Nelson. That's dumbest.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Break the Master Lock. Yeah.